Hello everyone. It's great to see you again in today's video. Jack is working enthusiastically in Tu Tien's unfinished new kitchen. Under the red brick floor and in the open space, he bends over large wooden boards, his eyes attentively following each cut. The saw runs smoothly in his hands, creating streaks of wood dust flying lightly in the air. Before cutting, Jack always carefully measures every inch, using a tape measure to trace along the board to ensure the most accurate size. Looking at the way he works, it is not difficult to feel the professionalism and passion spreading in each movement. The muscles in his arms tense up with the sawing rhythm. His eyes are focused, and the meticulousness in every detail shows that Jack is really putting his heart into the small but meaningful gift cabinet that he wants to complete for Tu Tien himself. At this time, Tu Tien was also coming back from outside. In her hands were bunches of wildflowers she had just picked from the roadside, yellow chrysanthemums, a few tiny purple flowers, and some green leaves. When Jack stopped to wipe the sweat from his forehead, Tu Tien quietly walked to the stone table next to the kitchen, put those flowers in a rustic ceramic vase. In just a few seconds, the new kitchen corner had become much gentler and brighter. Tu Tien smiled at her small vase. Then she gently turned her head to look in Jack's direction. She took the water jug, walked over to him and poured him a glass of cool water. Jack happily took the glass of water she gave him and drank it all in one gulp. When Jack finished drinking the water, Tu Tien walked back to the bamboo table where she sat down and peeled a grapefruit so that they could both eat it later. The gentle sunlight shone on Tu Tien's gentle face as she began to peel each thick layer of grapefruit skin. The faint scent of essential oils made the kitchen feel warmer. She separated each grapefruit segment, her small hands skillfully peeling off the white membrane surrounding them. The juicy, clear grapefruit segments were neatly placed on a white porcelain plate. Tu Tien occasionally looked up to see Jack still working hard with the wooden boards outside. A small smile appeared on her lips, warm, peaceful, and full of love. She planned that later, when Jack stopped working, they would both sit down together, eating fruit and chatting, to make this moment of work even sweeter. After peeling the grapefruit, Tu Tien called Jack to sit down and rest. The two of them sat next to each other, eating and chatting. But the two of them did not know that, far away on the edge of the land, behind the low bushes, a masked man was still silently observing them. He bent low, his eyes not leaving the scene of Jack and Tu Tien sitting next to each other. At one point, he took out his phone from his pocket and dialed a very familiar number. With the proficiency of someone who had done this more than once, his voice dropped slightly. The two of them are currently at home, still next to each other. The other end of the line said something very small, but enough to make the man's eyes suddenly darken. He did not move anymore, just silently watched, like a predator waiting for the right moment to attack. No one knew who he was. No one knew the plot he was preparing to carry out. But clearly, the peace around Jack and Tu Tien was gradually being threatened by a mysterious shadow that was quietly approaching them every day. After resting and eating grapefruit with Tu Tien, Jack stood up, dusted his hands, and returned to the pile of unfinished wood. He wanted to try to finish the cabinet today so that he could put it in Tu Tien's new kitchen. His eyes were focused, every movement was sure and meticulous. Tu Tien also refused to sit still. A new house must be clean, she told herself, then picked up a clean towel and walked to the door. She knelt down by the glass door frame, gently wiping each pane. The layer of dust that had accumulated during the construction gradually disappeared, revealing the clear glass that reflected her image. Every time she raised her arms, her long hair, braided behind her back, gently swayed to the rhythm. From Jack's position, he could see Tu Tien's figure bending over to wipe the door. Her small yet diligent appearance made him smile involuntarily. The only sound in the room was Jack's sawing sound, and Tu Tien's towel lightly brushing against the glass. But it was strangely peaceful, as if the two of them were together building their own future home. After finishing wiping the door frame, Tu Tien turned back to look at Jack, who was bending down to measure each board. She walked closer to him, gently wiped the sweat from his forehead, and smiled. "Let me help you." Tu Tien gently grabbed the large wooden board, holding it firmly so that Jack could confidently hammer the nail. The regular knock, knock sounds, combined with the breathing of both of them, created a strangely familiar atmosphere. Every time Jack hammered a nail, Tu Tien tilted her head to see if the nail line was straight, coordinating with him rhythmically as if they had been working together for a long time. Gradually, the shape of the cabinet began to appear clearly. The frame was finished, each wooden slat was fitted tightly, and the cabinet surface was also fixed. When the cabinet was finally completed, Jack and Tu Tien looked at each other. Both understood that the hardest part was done. Jack grabbed one side. Tu Tien quickly held the other side. Together they lifted the wooden cabinet. Although it was a bit heavy, thanks to their good coordination, every movement was smooth. They walked slowly, then placed the cabinet against the wall that Jack had chosen since morning. The two stood next to each other, admiring the result that had just been built with both hands. Tu Tien leaned slightly, her voice full of pride. "It's really beautiful, Jack. I didn't expect it to fit this angle so well." Jack smiled, admiring his achievement. Then he took off his shirt and told Tu Tien that he would go to the car to change clothes, and then the two of them would go buy some more things for the kitchen together. While waiting for Jack to change clothes, Tu Tien took a broom to sweep away the dust where Jack had just worked. Then she stood looking at the cabinet. Tu Tien pursed her lips, her heart trembling with emotion. She knew how busy he was, but still tried to take the time to make her a cabinet with her own hands. A small but loving item. Tu Tien raised her hand to gently rub her belly and talk to the baby in her belly, saying, "Your father is a wonderful person. I am so lucky to have met your father." Jack finished changing his clothes and slowly entered the farm. He walked through the bushes but did not realize that in the bushes there was a person hiding and watching his every move. While observing Jack and Tu Tien, he took out his phone to call a mysterious man to report the situation. He told the two of them to prepare to go out and what he should do next. When he received the order, he continued to hide in the bushes to listen to the situation. At this time, Jack and Tu Tien were locking the door to go out. The two of them held hands and walked through the bushes, completely unaware of the danger that was right next to them. Seeing the two people leave, he slowly crawled out from the bushes. He made sure that Jack had gone far away, so he continued to call to report the situation. He didn't know what the person on the other end of the line had ordered him to do, but looking at his face, it seemed very serious. His eyes were full of murderous intent. When he received the order, he slowly approached the kitchen, looked around at everything. Then he slowly disappeared into the bushes, just like the way he appeared, making no one aware of his presence. Jack and Tu Tien went to a shop that specialized in selling ceramics. The two of them went in to buy a jar to store rice. The two of them looked around the stalls together. There were all kinds of models. Jack occasionally turned to ask Tu Tien which model she liked because that kitchen was for her. So Jack wanted to buy things to make Tu Tien happy. Looking at some wedding models with Tu Tien, he also chose a few items for his kitchen. Jack quickly paid and moved those items to the trunk. The ceramic jars were wrapped carefully, and then Jack neatly packed them in the trunk when he was done. The two of them got in the car together to go back to the farm. When Jack and Tu Tien had just returned to the farm, the small road in front of the gate suddenly echoed with the sound of a fierce engine revving. The man in black who had been watching them from before suddenly appeared. This time he was not alone but had an accomplice behind him. The motorbike rushed forward at an extremely fast speed, as if waiting for the moment when the two of them were off guard. The driver leaned forward, while the man sitting behind tightened his grip on the long stick in his hand, his eyes fixed on Jack. Clearly his goal was to take him down. At this moment, Jack was bending down to pick up the things, not paying attention. Only Tu Tien saw the motorbike rushing towards them. In just a split second, when the swing of the stick was near, Tu Tien suddenly turned around. Her instinct to protect Jack made her unable to think of anything else. She immediately pushed him to the side. Jack lost his balance, staggered back, and Tu Tien received the entire blow. The sound of the wooden stick hitting her head was terrifying. Tu Tien fell to the dusty ground, her body limp. Her hair was loose. Blood from the wound on her head immediately flowed down, dyeing her temples red. Her sandals were thrown to both sides. The bags of things bought from the market fell and rolled on the road. Jack rushed forward in panic, kneeling down beside her. He kept calling out her name loudly. Tu Tien! Tu Tien! His voice was trembling, almost choking. The two attackers saw that scene and stopped to look. Then they turned the car around and sped away into the dark road. Jack lifted Tu Tien up, his hands shaking as he felt her body gradually getting cold. Blood from her head spread and soaked into his shirt. In the pain, Tu Tien felt the pain from her stomach, blood flowing down her legs, her mouth mumbling weak words. "Oh, save me. Save our child. Oh, oh." He hugged her tightly, holding her in his arms, his eyes desperate and scared to the extreme, as if he was even 1 second slower, he would lose her forever.